Welcome back to Catching Up with Katie. So a couple weeks ago, we hinted that there was an argument that we needed to settle, that it was something that was kind of causing a little friction on our last trip on the last day. And so what we've decided to do is put court in session here on Catching Up with Katie. And so I am the judge. I was there, but I wasn't there for the actual debacle. So what we're going to do is we're going to hear out each party, one party being Matt, the other being Nate and Abigail together, hear their sides of the story, and then we're going to make a decision here and today as to who is in the right and who's in the wrong. And what we're not going to do is get upset and start being sad and being cold and putting our headphones on.
And from that comment alone, you can tell what the judging will be.
You know what, though? Because there wasn't a whole lot of chatting that day, I really haven't heard the other side. So I'm curious. You know what? We're going to start with Mr. Matthew Turpin on your side of things, and we want to hear your defense.
He's already said, can I just say something real
sure.
quick?
I guess we're starting with that.
Let me just say this, that he already said this morning that he's going to take like the pity route.
No, actually, I did a lot of soul searching, and
Here we go.
I decided that I was in the wrong, and there's really no need for all of this.
After we put the wigs on, I bought a gavel.
I admit I was wrong. Next segment. I'm joking. I would never do that.
Pray, sir, let us continue.
So this all started. I mean, we could say it started a long time ago. When we get to the root. When we get to the roots, I'm having some bang problems.
You're very silver roots.
This whole trip, there was little groups formed, and it was pretty clear from the very beginning that, you know, if anybody was going to be ostracized from anything, it was going to be me. So coming straight to the trip from a weekend in New York, you know.
Well, I thought we had a good time.
I had a great time. Yeah. Tired, a little tired and whatnot.
That was just you and me, though.
Do I have the floor?
Silence.
Yeah. The opposition's talking to me. What is it? The defendant and...
Are you...
Can I speak?
Who are you
you
right
asking?
Now? Who are we?
Who are we?
I'm the judge.
You're the judge. We're the plaintiff. He's the defendant.
Plaintiff. That's the one.
Okay. Plaintiff, defendant.
Okay.
Got it.
Anyway, we'll fast forward to I think it was day 3 or the day before the last day of the trip.
It was the last day.
Well, this is where I'm fast forwarding is the day before the last day of the trip. I was scrolling through my phone because I was wanting a little sweet treat. Nobody had sit there and made the proclamation of, you know what would go ham right now is a sweet treat. I just wanted one because, and I knew it was a little extra, because I just wanted some ice cream on top of what we were probably already about to get in an hour or so at dinner. So I'm scrolling through DoorDash and whatnot looking for me a sweet treat. And here comes some prying eyes over my shoulder. Say, oh, you want to get you a little ice cream, are you? To which I replied, I thought I would. You want to get these for everybody? Which, okay, all right. I guess I could say that was time one. But sure, I could have said, hey, does anybody want some ice cream? But I thought, since I was going to be extra, and since it's 2025 and anybody can download the DoorDash app, that me getting ice cream, what this had turned into is that when I DoorDash something, that it is assumed that I'm DoorDashing for everybody, and that their individual DoorDash is no longer in the picture. But that being said, I ordered an ice cream treat.
Okay.
The
that
next
was day
day
before. Okay, that was day before.
This is when the I'm starting to see a pattern here. Now we awake on the morning of the crime. In the group message, which I can pull up, a text was sent out. hey, we're probably going to stop for coffee on the way to the horse show before we do this stuff.
Nope.
I should have pulled all this set. I should have had files. I should have had everything set.
A briefcase.
Yes. I should have
Nate's
said, well,
pulling
actually,
it up. Nate's pulling it up.
there was a message sent out that
No,
there was that
No.
we were going to go out.
Hey,
This is my time.
Order.
Everybody's going to get their time.
order. He's saying what his side is, and we will have our chance to have.
Okay, but it's not a side. It's a misuse of facts at this point.
Well, we will give you.
But
the
I
chance
could be over here
to
telling
debunk.
a complete
Objection.
We will give
There
you
you
the
go.
chance to supply evidence.
Okay.
Okay. So if you find the text
Can Matt
to
supply
debunk
his
it
evidence?
Yes,
or
I just
lack
didn't bring it in.
thereof, then you can show that. Continue.
There was a message in some form of fashion along the lines of that we were going to be stopping to get some breakfast, to do whatever on the way there. I thought to myself at that point in time, since I had been up all night editing a video, man, breakfast coffee sounds good. What I don't want to do personally is wait another hour or something to go get coffee. And what I really, really want is a Starbucks macchiato. I really, really want a caramel macchiato from Starbucks macchiato. Now, what I could do is go up to the room or the living room with everybody on a work trip and stomp my feet and say, I want Starbucks. Or I could be appreciative of wherever we're going and whatnot and just say, make it easy for everybody and say, you know what, I'm just going to make an order myself, get what I want, and then, that way it's not any extra problem or anything. And then as I'm making that order, I thought, well, although we are going to stop, it has been brought to my attention that, when I order things for myself, it is perceived not the right thing to do. So I said, well, I thought, we're out of water at the house. I'll at least get them a couple waters to hold them over until we get to where we're going, because this was going to be the last trip before we went everywhere and whatnot. How that was received was, well, he just got coffee for himself, and he only got us waters. Or he only got us waters instead of coffee. I personally am on the side of I am all for group orders and do them often. I do them often. Group orders, by the way. And every once in a while, if I wanted to make an individual order, that would be okay. And that is just 2025. And if you want a little something, get the DoorDash app, get you some DoorDash or Dash Pass, and deliver right to your doorstep.
Okay. Is that your concluding argument?
That was the debacle for me, and then it depended to sour some more, however that phrase
before we
is.
get into that, before we get into the airport and everything else.
Then yes, we're concluded.
Okay, concluded. Now, up until the point of the actual argument, we would like to hear from Nate and Abigail on how they perceived this. And now for today's sponsor, which is June's Journey. June's Journey is a hidden object mystery game set in the 1920s. As the player, you get to follow along with amateur detective June Parker. You'll follow along on the journey of her discovering family secrets and her sister's murder. While you're playing June's Journey, there are multiple reasons why it is fun and you pass the time quickly. One of the things is there's so many hidden objects in different scenes, and it's challenging. Also, I love that I get to create and decorate my own island. It's also not a one-time thing. You build as you progress within the game. You can get rewards, you can level up, you can master a scene, collect resources and rare items, and it gives you a sense of accomplishment. It's a visual puzzle that's also beautiful to look at. The colors, the scenery, it's gorgeous. Overall, it's an amazing game that stimulates the mind, passes the time by for me specifically when I'm waiting for foals to be born, and it's just overall really fun. So if you're in need of a new game to pass the time, have some fun, I highly recommend June's Journey. Now, I do have the QR link on the screen, so you can scan the QR code or go to the link in my description to check the game out and download it from there. If you're in need of a new game, June's Journey is there for you. Now, back to the video.
You go ahead.
My timeline. The scenario he just described takes place after the airport. The airport one was first.
Yes, and he left that out.
So
The airport was after.
no,
We're talking about when we arrived.
let's set the stage.
They're going back further than you
We're
did.
going back further.
We got to go further back
We
than you
arrived.
did.
Was this not in
I don't know.
Ohio?
I
I got
haven't
it.
heard this.
It was in Oklahoma.
This is
So-
in Oklahoma.
buddy.
We first landed in Oklahoma, and we were walking through the airport, and we collectively as a group noticed the Starbucks up ahead. And we said, look, there's a Starbucks. Sounds good. Katie and Jonathan turned left and went through the doors that you cannot come back from.
to baggage claim.
To baggage claim. You cannot turn around and go back through. So Abigail and I, we turned and went through.
And Matt is behind us.
Matt's right behind us. We get through the doors, we turn around, and he has kept going to Starbucks. After we all just talked about, oh, look, a Starbucks, and we were excited. He left us, went on his own.
And then we couldn't get back in.
We couldn't go back through. And then he comes back with a drink for himself.
We thought
And
everyone was going to the bathroom.
We thought everyone was just going to the bathroom.
Wait, I'm the judge.
And
Sorry.
Yeah.
at this point, we're like, oh, bummer, because we would have liked a Starbucks.
Yeah.
But no sweat off of you for that. But we did make known our grievances of, oh, in a next time fashion, we would like to be included if you're going to get like a coffee or a Starbucks. That's when we fast forward
Yes.
to the incident that you mentioned, to where having referenced and knowing in your heart, hey, we want to be included as a group when we get coffee. This isn't like a every time ordeal, but we had just made known, hey, we want to do this as a group. It's something we enjoy doing together. It's a fun activity for us to all get coffee and then sit and be excited with them together, you know? For an order to come through in the morning, DoorDash, coffee's on the doorstep. Hey, I believe you said, I just didn't want y'all to think I forgot about you. Here's a bottle of water.
Yes.
I did.
Yes.
That happening after us having the prior conversation of, hey, it kind of made us feel left out and a little sad that you didn't include us on the Starbucks run because that's something we normally all do together. DoorDash
also-
aside, we always go get coffee together.
You mind if I...
Please.
So what he's talking about like that, the morning of, we all said we are going to go get coffee before. That never happened. What happened was at like 10 a.m.
I got the text. Right here.
So we had to check out at 11, and we were going like straight to the airport. At like 10 a.m., Katie texts, I think asking like if we wanted to order something or if we wanted to stop at Whataburger for lunch.
You want me to read the timestamps right quick?
Sure.
9 a.m., Katie says, do y'all want to order food? I responded, if everyone else ordered food, I would get something. At 9:07, do we want to get brunch or just get Whataburger on our way out? I'm good with either. Abigail says, I'm good with grabbing something on the way out.
Yeah.
That was the entire conversation, was to swing by Whataburger.
Yes.
It's not a coffee.
Is
it's not
Whataburger Starbucks?
It's not a known coffee location.
Is Whataburger a coffee
But if
shop?
you don't think that if we had gone by Whataburger, Jonathan wouldn't have suggested Starbucks. Like we were going to go get breakfast / coffee.
But that didn't happen.
But it didn't
It
happen.
didn't happen.
That did not happen.
Which I anticipated and got coffee in case that didn't happen.
You just didn't feel the need to also anticipate and do a nice thing for your friends, and
okay.
that's okay.
But here's- and that's fine.
because I think the whole difference here is just that we just would do things differently for you than you would
But
do
you
for
didn't.
us.
Not one time on that trip did you say, "Hey, let's get coffee this morning."
I never thought about ordering coffee for
And
myself.
nobody did until I had coffee in my hand. And that is the only reason
not
that
the
I
point,
got
though.
upset is because the only reason that this is even a conversation is because nobody else, we all want to talk about being a good friend and we all like to do things that we're included in. Well, nobody else wanted to get coffee. They only wanted
That's not
wanted
the
it
point.
until I got it.
The point
the same
isn't
thing
the
with Sonic
person-
ice cream. Nobody wanted it until all of a sudden I'm ordering it. Well, yeah, I'll go on that order. Well, I bet you would.
because we think you have. Because we're like, oh, that's a good idea, Matt. We'd
we
also like to
didn't
do
think
that.
about it.
Now that you brought that up, that does sound good.
Every morning that we have been on a trip, every morning that we've been on a trip, I've gotten a Starbucks coffee.
And
or a
usually
coffee.
you text both of us and
And
ask
usually
what
I
we
text
want.
both
So
of
I
you and
don't
ask what
really
you
know
want.
why this
Yeah.
was a different precedent is just the.
If there wasn't a pre-conversation going on that, hey, we'll probably just stop by, we can run by somewhere or whatever, that's fine. I personally didn't want to wait for that. I didn't just get coffee. I got a breakfast sandwich too. I was hungry. I was tired from the previous night, and I thought, I want to go ahead and get something now, and I'll still probably get something at Whataburger wherever we go.
From my point of view, my POV, I have no qualms with you getting anything for yourself and not including us. I don't have any right to be included in your order. But as a friend, it felt a little insulting to have the conversation of, hey, we felt left out when you went and did this on your own because we like to do this all together. Oh, okay. And then to say, hey, I didn't want you to think I forgot about you. I got coffee. Here's a bottle of water. That felt insulting.
It did feel a little
That
mean.
felt insulting.
That is a viewpoint. That is 100%. I can live in those shoes, and I can walk in those shoes.
As the judge, I have a question.
Okay.
Okay. So with these previous orders on these trips, because these orders, a lot of the time, just for the viewer's sake, we DoorDash quite often for dinners, and usually we use my account for that. And those dinners, those everythings are covered by me. That's just like on the trip. On these separate like exchanges and these separate orders, is Matt being reimbursed?
The majority of the time, no.
Okay. Taking that into account.
I'll also say I order things and I don't ask for reimbursement.
It is also worth noting that I don't ask for reimbursement when I do.
But
if
And
it's
it's
an
not
offer,
about asking.
pause
if
on
so,
that.
though.
If it's
I
an
will
offer,
admit. I will say
Let's
that.
pause on that, though. Because after this debacle, the comment was made by Matt about, well, he's the only one who ever pays for anything. At which point, I Venmo'd you way
Yep.
more than enough.
But the point of the matter is that I genuinely love.
I'm Venmoing more.
Don't Venmo more because
I'm about to Venmo 100.
You can't say you genuinely love
And
while
then we-
also
and-
making
and
the
then-
comment about how
That probably only covers one meal.
But if you're gonna throw that out there,
genuinely
though,
don't
Is it?
care.
I can say that if you're going to make the statement that I Venmo'd you more than you ever would have ever ordered me on DoorDash
for that trip.
For that trip, all right. The point of the matter, don't you dare Venmo me more.
Oh, buddy, it's coming.
Dude,
Oh.
I'll have to go get another phone if I see another Venmo notification on that thing. The point of the matter is that I love doing things for people. I love the reaction of just seeing you happy because I bought you a coffee that I thought of you and bought you a coffee, and I love that reaction because that makes me happy.
And I also love the thought of, wow, Matt really thought of me today.
Right.
And he thought of both of his friends and he just wanted to do something nice for us.
But you have to understand.
And I do that all the time.
we know that you enjoy seeing
know
that.
that.
We know that you enjoy doing that.
That time that I ordered those 2 coffees, I was not looking for that. I was looking for energy for myself. I was not looking for gratification. I was looking for a quick coffee.
Well,
Okay.
it's not about doing it for the
From-
gratification.
It's not about doing it
From
for gratification.
Third party point of view, who never partakes in the coffee, but also knows how the mornings go and the timelines go. This is how I see the situation. I validate
That-
Buddy.
that you should not
Yeah.
have to order for everyone all the time. I validate that because I think you should be able to do what you want. You're a grown man. You should be able to make
I
an order.
agree.
Absolutely. But with history, knowing we're usually skirting out the door, we're usually a little late. We're usually sometimes we're not on time to like get to the next place. And it's not always feasible to stop on the way to the next destination for coffee. I think a little text saying, hey, I'm ordering coffee because I don't think we're going to have enough time. Does anyone else want coffee? Probably would have boded well.
And I think
And probably would have been a hit. And so I think you're both right.
I think there's 3
given
elements to this.
Honestly, like hearing more of what Matt said, I'm starting to.
I understand it.
I
I
already
certainly
did.
understand your
I
position,
already
too.
understand it, but like
At
I
the
don't
base
know.
level, we're all on the same page.
I think the whole element that is causing a rift is that instead of just saying, I just got coffee for myself, it's because you did take time to order them something. It was just something.
It was just what you knew we didn't want.
You knew we
Well,
wouldn't
and
want.
here's the thing, and that's what got my goat, is because that's how it was perceived, rather than, oh, well, he must have noticed that we were fresh out of waters last night, and we don't have any waters this morning. This tap water is butt disgusting, and so I'm for sure going to need some water, at least to hold me over until we get to the breakfast
see,
spot.
I mean,
that
both would
I
have been.
just
I'm just kidding. I'm
here's
kidding.
here's the
Both
thing.
waters.
There's
No, I meant like the coffee and
three.
I was
There's
joking.
three elements to this conundrum. There's the element of autonomy. There's the element of friendship, and there's the element of communication. And I think of autonomy, you feel tied and chained to being forced to help others. If I'm speaking out of turn, let me know. And so, in some sense, you go, I don't have to do this. Maybe you feel taken for granted, which could be an element of failure of friendship on our side that you feel that way. But we also see a failure of friendship on your side to not include us. And I think that brings us to element 3, which may be just poor communication. Maybe if you're feeling this way of, I feel like I'm the only one who ever does it, that could be communicated. I think we would happily accept that.
I think from going forward from now on, we'll definitely all take turns. Like I have DoorDash, I have Dash Pass. It's just that you're usually the person
You're the idea
that
guy.
suggests the
You
idea.
go,
So that's
"Coffee?"
kind of why it's not like we expect you to, but it's more like you're just the guy that usually does it.
You're a
so we just
go-getter.
assume,
To
I guess, that
interject,
you're going to
why
want
have
to.
3 delivery charges? Why have 2 delivery charges? Because
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
expensive.
That makes sense.
So I do feel like it all comes down to let's rotate who pays.
Yeah.
Let's.
Yeah.
This is what
I'm
I didn't
happy to
want,
pay.
and this
I
is
just
what I
paid
didn't
again.
want, because the money has never been an issue.
$75.
Oh my gosh, I'm about to literally lose it. And now this will have to
I'm literally about to lose it, guys.
be. It's what I didn't want is the same thing. It's like now there's a thing about it, right? Now there's a
Yep.
thing because I have no issue. And furthermore, enjoy not because I know, not for the satisfaction of the reaction or whatever. It's because I genuinely love making you happy by getting you coffee. That's what makes me happy. What got my goat was that knowing this, how easily the tides did a 180 into now he's the freaking archangel and has come down to deprive us of what we wanted that morning.
Certainly.
all the way down to the airport, which was a weaker argument, and that has been accepted as a weaker argument, and I will give you all credit for that.
Yes.
Just because you two were sheep
bring that
and went left and I went right.
Yes.
And said like, oh, there's a
Okay.
Starbucks. Oh,
Okay,
you're right.
well, I
I'm
guess-
gonna go get coffee.
As another third party of that incident,
We're following the group.
we had just discussed also, well, we'll just get Starbucks on the way because we're about to get the car and we were trying to get, I can't remember what the timeline was, but we were trying to get somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like, instead of getting coffee here,
Yeah,
let's go
because
ahead and get our bags.
Jonathan wanted it too.
Because Jonathan wanted it too. So we knew we were going to be stopping. And so we were like, well, let's just keep going. And so then we ended up standing there and waiting for Matt to get his coffee.
Oh, there was nobody in that line. I was the only person that walked up to that counter.
It
and I
didn't
said,
take a long time. It didn't take a
didn't.
long time.
It was
I had my
probably
coffee mostly finished by the time we got out of
It
there.
was probably at max 2 minutes.
But everybody else was also tired. And so if we were going to stop, then we would have all just stopped.
There's also just a big difference to me between, and it's not a bad thing. It's like he fully has the confidence to break away from what everyone else is doing, not tell anyone, and just do his own thing and assume that we're gonna meet back up and everyone's gonna be okay.
That's how everybody else is that I would do.
I standing at the back of the line with all 4 of y'all in front of me would never just in my head be like, I'm just not gonna tell anyone and I'm just gonna break away over here and then they can't get back in, but I'll just meet them down.
From
I
what
don't
I'm-
know. It's just like I
That's
never
just how when I
I
go
would
to an
never think
airport
to do that.
Like if Katie gets us all airport tickets, it is my assumption that we are all Airport
tickets.
Plane tickets.
Tickets to the airport.
Like, we are all grown adults, and we are all responsible for being there when that plane boards at 2:30.
Correct.
Whatever you do, how you get there, if you want to walk the day before, or if you want to do whatever, go for it. But you better be on the airport or in there.
Fully agree.
You better be
with
boarding the plane.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
Right. This was not that circumstance.
The only
because we were leaving.
the only comment I would make on that is
we were leaving.
I fully agree. You know, go do whatever you want in the airport. I don't care what anyone does in the airport. You want to go?
I care what people do.
Oh yeah. I don't care if you want to go. Hey, I'm going to walk down to the end and go to this restaurant. I'm going to go sit by myself. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. The weird part? It's like we get to the airport and it almost feels like we're not friends anymore.
Yeah, like
It's like we're like, oh, we talk, we communicate, we're friends in the car. We get to the airport and it's like, where did he go? He didn't say anything.
No.
Oh, he went and got stuff without us.
That is true, but that's just like how, like, with everybody else that I go to the airport with, which is one other group of people, which is like, that's just how it is. Like the moment the plane lands, like if we're coming home or whatever, there is no, oh, well, it was a good time, everybody. Pew! See y'all next week.
We all feel that way. But I think also, like, we walked up to you and we were like, Matt, what are you doing sitting over here in the corner by yourself? And you're like,
but I genuinely
I need the outlet for editing. And we go sit
at our gate.
The gate.
When we counted like
There's
14 outlets
at every chair.
seat.
Every chair. And so you might not have known that, and like whatever. And yes, you actually were editing. I understand that. But it was just like, at that point, it makes us think, why is he lying about not like the outlet? Because it's clearly not the outlet. And it's like,
I wasn't saying that was the only outlet available. It was just that was the first available outlet that I saw that was in a seat right there. I wasn't saying it's the only outlet.
I think this is my take on it after sitting on it for a while is that, you know, I think a group has dynamics, and I think individuals within the group naturally
Should know their place.
acclimate into you just naturally kind of take on a role.
Mm-hmm.
And
You're a DoorDash guy.
And that was my mistake.
Historically,
that was my mistake.
but how is it a mistake if you truly enjoy?
that's just who you are.
And so
Doing
I,
it.
DoorDash guy.
okay, from a third party, because again, I never really partake in these. If you're wanting to be DoorDash guy out of the goodness of your heart, cool, because then you're just being nice and you're helping out your friends and you're wanting to see the joy on their face. I get that. But then there's the other aspect of just being a good guy and being like, we're all short on time. I'm ordering right now. It would take 3 minutes to add on a couple things so that they made sure they got coffee before they got to the airport. So,
When I made that order.
but communication might ensure that you are in that circumstance, because you're not trying to just do it for fun. Say, hey guys, if you could Venmo me after this one. And I don't think anyone would take offense to paying for their own coffee.
I just did.
I'm going to tonight.
I think you should. I think you should get all square.
How much do I owe you, Matt?
Probably
For the past couple
See, it
of
doesn't
years,
matter.
you think?
at least 50.
I've deleted both apps, Uber Eats and DoorDash, and have sworn off.
Deliveries.
Yeah, what would you call that? Mobile eating.
It's also so funny the whole time we've been doing this. I've just been, me and Matt have been looking at each other right through this little crack, and it's just like I have to get down to make eye contact with him. And then I'll just
It's
see
not
like
as
his
bad from
eyes
my
like
angle.
right below them.
We're not
Also,
having a huge
can I make a motion?
Sure.
You're
I
the
would
judge.
love to take this wig off. It itches so bad.
I kind of like it.
Mine
I'm sure.
itches.
I'm not doing
so
that.
I
bad.
feel good.
It's just these headphones, actually.
Motion yourself.
Yeah.
I will be. I am.
I have too big of ears.
The Ben Franklin one is available now, Nate. I know how much you were.
Let me hold that Ben Franklin one.
Just not put it on.
Yeah, I just want to hold it.
Do I have a line on my forehead?
Yes.
Little squiggles.
Looks like you just took your socks off. Y'all know.
Y'all with inflammation, no.
Well, this is
So,
better
yeah.
than scratching that, too.
Oh,
Take your
dude,
socks off
are
and
you
scratching.
kidding?
I mean,
I look like Weird
Hit him
Al.
one of these.
you look kind of cool. You look like a cool
Yankovic?
old like hippie guy.
It could be Yankovic. I'm not sure.
Okay, as the judge in this situation,
Yeah, who won?
Here's how I see it. There is no winner. in this
I
debacle.
agree.
There is
Only
no
losers.
winner.
Oh, there'll
And
be
you
one in the
can-
comments
Y'all
for
can
sure.
tell us in the comments.
There'll be a winner in the comments.
If there is a winner and a loser, y'all can choose that in the comments. I
Follow me for the winner.
Believe.
Follow Nate for the winner.
believe there is no winner and loser in this situation. I believe, maybe y'all shouldn't have taken for granted that he's just DoorDash guy.
Agree.
Yeah.
And then, but maybe
Doormat guy.
but also, I think being considerate of not just friends, but also co-workers in an environment that is predictable
Friends over coworkers.
from past, incidences of running out the door and not having time to get coffee, and you were already doing it, and you obviously did think of them. It would have been nice to ask them what their coffee order
I
was.
should have just got him nothing. I'd say I would have had a less
would've.
argument.
It would
would've.
have, because then you could have just said you forgot.
What got my goat
No, we're done.
was
We're
the
done.
water bottle.
We're done.
We are done. It is done.
That was the big thing that sent this all is because the goat getters were the same thing, but on two different extremes. On two different extremes, but the goat getter was the water.
The goat
It
getter was the water.
It was.
Okay, so I think we're kiss and make up.
Oh, we're fine.
Oh, yeah,
we haven't
we're
even
fine.
talked about this in like a month.
Which honestly, like him and I have had like blow ups, like actual like arguments before that we've kissed and made up after that. So
Yeah, for sure.
this was nothing.
This was nothing.
Besides, we haven't been the same. You and I.
Yeah, we have a tendency to call
You and I.
just if there's a fray
There's
in
going
the
to now be a Reddit thread that says Nate and Matt in a relationship, they kiss.
Nate and Matt kiss.
Somebody write that short story and send it to Katie to proofread. What is it? What was the other one ever we used to write short stories on? Maybe.
We don't need to talk about Wattpad. I have a history there. And we don't need
Yeah,
to get
that's the
into that.
next one, dude. What if we like?
Take that out. Take it out right now.
Leave it.
What if we
Take
like?
that out.
I'm not repeating it. It's just like
Blur it.
It's like a little Easter egg in the video.
Take that out.
Like those scary stories that girls watch when they're doing makeup, or like mine does it to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But like they have like animations for the stories.
Yeah.
We should get your Wattpad stories, all of them, and make animations of them.
I have an idea. Can we do this for fun? Yes or no?
I don't know yet.
What's the idea?
Come on.
We can
I've pitched this to other people in the past, and no one has ever done it with me.
No one wants to do it.
No one wants to do it, but I think it would be fun. We're going to write a story, okay? A book, whatever you want to call it, chapters. And then it'll be a scenario where I write a paragraph and pass it. You write a paragraph, pass it.
We could do that for one
Oh,
of these.
yeah,
And it
we
keeps
should do
going,
that.
and then you get it like 4 paragraphs later, and you're like, what's happened?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to add more.
So interesting though to see like
Like, where does it
the
go? What
direction
happens?
that you were thinking of taking it, and then like reading what someone else thought of
And you go,
like doing, and then you're like, that's
"Oh."
not at all where I
Exactly.
was going.
Imagine
but
every one of your responses were just, and then they kissed.
next chapter.
3 chapters later, and then they kissed.
But what if I just throw y'all into like a
That would be the
scene
point.
That
I mean, Nate would have to
I'd
go
get us
after
out.
you, and he'd have to continue writing the
Katie would be-
scene
Katie-
that you're working on.
last
You want to
sentence-
talk about a main character plot ending?
a death immediately.
She slowly starts taking off his pants, and out of nowhere, a grand piano comes off the top floor.
I think the rest of the episode kind of just needs to be a little catch up because
Yeah.
a lot of things have happened, and just kind of keeping everyone in the know. So order of operations. So Taz is here with the goats. Y'all already saw that video of him arriving.
Big Taz.
So I don't know for sure. I think he's done got Blossom.
Really?
I think he has. So we'll see. During the video that we filmed was it a couple days ago, where we were doing bump dates, we noticed Annie, her udder had developed, and she's like the last one due. And that can be indicative of placentitis and like really serious things that could cause like preterm labor and things like that. And so we took her to the vet and left her over the weekend. And so she is back home now. Nothing on her blood work showed anything. Nothing came back really telling us anything. And that's kind of the sucky part. Honestly, I would rather go somewhere and they say, hey, here's what's going on. Let's fix it.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, no, she's fine. But something's obviously not fine. So we're just going to have to really pay attention to her for any other changes. But that's where we're at with Annie. So we are going on a like tropical trip prior to foaling season. And so there is going to be a week where there's like a missing video. So I think next week there won't be a video on Thursday or something like that, just because we don't have to pre-film everything. So we're going to, I guess I'm not going to say where until afterwards. We're going to another island.
It's Kirks and Tacos.
Sure. So we're gonna go just, be bums prior to being on lockdown for the next 4 months. But anyway,
Bums would sound nice.
I think that's honestly about it. So, I found Whimsy.
You found Whimsy.
I found Whimsy
Where was she?
I found like we've been talking this whole time about like this Christmas season, finding Whimsy in, like you have to make it as an adult instead of it just happening.
Yeah.
And so on TikTok, and I've seen it for a couple of years, I saw it scroll through a clip from a Tommy Prophet concert, like his Christmas concert. And I honestly thought this was like a, across the country type thing for the Christmas season. And apparently it's only in Nashville and it's only one night. And so I found tickets last Thursday and then we went on Sunday. And so it was I guess it was last night. It was fantastic. And I already bought tickets for next year.
It looked amazing.
So I had it on my Snapchat. And I was that person just snapping the whole concert because it was so good. Like, I know no one wants to watch a concert on someone's Snapchat, but like, it was so good. It was like, the way he described it is after he was a worship leader for a little while in his life, he became a composer for films and like this epic, movie themes and whatnot. And so he was like, I wanted to take that type of music and create like a, story of the nativity and of Christmas. And so each of your favorite Christmas songs is revamped. And it's like super, especially when you're there in person, because it's a full orchestra, full choir. Each song has a different singer. My favorite is Jordan Smith. He won The Voice, and then like Colton Dixon, who was on American Idol, was there. Crowder was there. Like there was just amazing singers, and like I cried so many times just from like because it's just so big.
Yeah,
like all the music feels so big.
Oh yeah.
The only thing was they did have confetti, and I hated the confetti, but
That would be the highlight for me.
it's okay.
yeah. I think it would be the highlight for me too.
It was everywhere. Like I don't know, like Jonathan's shirt had a. It was just like a little gap that big. He had like 12 pieces down it. Like how we were trying to think of the math equation. You know what I'm saying? For that much confetti. Don't try to do it. Don't try to do it.
It would be easier.
What do we think? It's a lot.
So yeah, that was very whimsical, and I'm going to try to keep doing stuff like that. Where it's like before, I feel like my brain would have been like, oh, it's in 2 days. I can't go to that.
Yeah, you need to start. You need to start Whimsy Wednesdays.
Whimsy Wednesdays.
Like a Hallmark movie. Like
Yeah.
I found my whimsy. I've been searching for
My
it for the last
whimsy
hour and a
for
half.
last week, or I guess this week. Sunday's the first day of the week. My whimsy for this week was the Tommy Prophet Birth of a King concert.
Yeah.
It was so good. So anyway, anything to add? Are we anything coming up? I mean, I think other than like
got a
we're
house.
kind of in that season where nothing's really going on before everything's going on.
Oh yeah. Matt bought a house.
Well, in contingents. But
Someone come by Matt's house so that he can buy this other
yeah,
house.
the address is.
I mean, there are other things going on, but we just can't tell y'all everything.
We're having another baby.
Oh, you're just gonna drop that in there.
Oh wait, nope. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Well, you're editing it, so
Yeah, you can
We're having
say
another
it later.
baby.
Oh, Okay, so
it's the second one.
it's just not as important as the first one.
Well, now it's like ultrasound approved. Confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, approved.
That's so fun. We found out about it in Oklahoma, so way before y'all.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure.
Maybe that's
found
why he was so grumpy.
Way earlier.
Don't act like you didn't know beforehand. I walked
didn't.
upon y'all talking
I was
about
actually
it.
in the middle of a phone
Still didn't
conversation.
They gaslit you into
They
thinking
did.
it wasn't.
They did.
Well, I
She
didn't say-
walked
I
up
didn't say
on them
anything.
talking about Matt having a new baby, like talking about, oh yeah, like being, or she was sick, or something like that. And she was like, what? And they were like, nothing.
I was like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Why are you talking about that?" And you were like, "Well, we just both have young children. Like our wives,
Yeah, I remember
sick during
that.
pregnancy." And I was like, "Okay."
I remember that. I remember thinking at the end of that was not a good reflection.
I just kept quiet because I didn't know how to.
You didn't want to lie like
I didn't
Matt
want to.
did.
I didn't know how to like say anything without gaslighting, without lying to you. So I just.
Jonathan,
also clued
why
me
did you
in a
tell
little bit.
Jonathan before me and Abigail?
I was going to tell you all that day. I don't know. I was just excited. Like, I wanted to tell somebody.
Like,
But like, why
you
not
told
us?
Jonathan.
Here's why we got into the whole freaking coffee debacle we're in now. Is stuff like this, by the way. I'm just kidding. I told you all that. I wanted to make it a dinner thing, and Jonathan was like, "Hey, I'm pregnant,"
And then
But that would, for y'all, it was going to be like, "Oh,
at
Oh, so it
dinner,
was a bigger deal for us.
I knew first.
at dinner,
I
was
called
gonna
Nate when I found out.
everybody else knew already, and then he put up his thing, and to me and Abigail's surprise, he said, Maddie's pregnant, and we were like, but everyone else knew. So, by the way, I have dented this thing.
You only hit it like 3 times."
I mean, you had some
dented it.
authority in the swing.
I've dented it. Okay, that's it for today's Catching Up with Katie. Hope y'all enjoyed. Let me know if you agree with my verdict on this whole debacle, or if you have some other opinions, other concerns, if you think there was an actual winner, loser, things like that.
Let us know if we should bring this back up. Go again.
Yeah, does Katie's courtroom need to stay in action? Let us know, and we will see you in the next one.